A teenager knocked on my door at 3 a.m., terrified, saying, "My parents are going to kill me." Then her parents arrived, calmly explaining she was delusional. The pounding on my door at 3 a.m. pulled me from sleep so violently I thought someone was trying to break in. I stumbled down the stairs of my apartment, heart hammering, and checked the peephole. A teenage girl stood in the hallway, her face streaked with tears, mascara running in dark rivers down her cheeks. She was maybe 16, wearing pajama pants and an oversized hoodie, barefoot on the concrete floor. She pounded again, harder this time, and I could hear her sobbing through the door. "Please, please, let me in. They're going to kill me. Please." I unlocked the door and she practically fell into my apartment, grabbing my arms with hands that were ice cold and trembling. "You have to help me. My parents. They're going to kill me. I heard them planning it. They said tonight was the night. I ran, but they're coming. They're going to find me." Her pupils were dilated, her breathing rapid and shallow. She kept looking back at the door with wild, terrified eyes. "Okay, slow down. What's your name? Let me call the police." I reached for my phone, but she grabbed my wrist hard enough to hurt. "No, they'll side with my parents. Everyone always sides with them. They're rich, they're respected, they know people. No one ever believes me." I gently pulled my hand free and guided her to sit on my couch. She was shaking so hard her teeth chattered. I grabbed a blanket from the back of the couch and wrapped it around her shoulders. "I'm not going to let anything happen to you, but I need you to tell me what's going on. Why do you think your parents want to hurt you?" She looked at me with eyes that held too much fear for someone so young. "Because I found out the truth. About what they did. About the money and the people they killed to get it. I wasn't supposed to know, but I heard them talking in their office. They didn't realize I was home. And when they saw me, when they knew I'd heard everything, my dad looked at my mom and said, 'We can't let her tell anyone.' They locked me in my room, but I climbed out the window." Her words tumbled out in a rush, frantic and desperate. "I need to call someone. Police, social services, someone who can help." I pulled out my phone, but she started crying harder. "You don't understand. They have connections everywhere. My dad works with judges and lawyers. My mom volunteers with the police auxiliary. Everyone thinks they're perfect. No one will believe their daughter is telling the truth about them being murderers." Before I could respond, someone knocked on my door. 3 calm, measured knocks. Rachel's face went white. "That's them. They found me already. Please don't open it, please." I looked through the peephole and saw a man and woman standing in the hallway. They were well dressed despite the hour, the man in slacks and a button-down shirt, the woman in a cardigan and jeans. They looked worried but composed, nothing threatening about their appearance. The man knocked again. "Hello? We're very sorry to disturb you at this hour. Our daughter Rachel is having an episode. She sometimes runs away when she's off her medication. We just want to make sure she's safe." His voice was calm, reasonable, concerned. Rachel grabbed my arm. "Don't believe them. That's what they always say, that I'm sick, that I need medication, that I make up stories. It's how they keep me quiet. Please." I didn't open the door yet. Instead, I called through it. "How do I know you're really her parents?" The woman answered this time. "We have identification. We can show you pictures of her as a child. We have her medical records with us because this happens periodically. She has schizophrenia. When she doesn't take her medication, she develops paranoid delusions, usually about us, sometimes about teachers or friends. It's heartbreaking." Rachel's fingernails dug into my arm. "They're lying. I'm not sick. They made up the diagnosis to discredit me. They have a psychiatrist friend who wrote fake reports. Please, you have to believe me." I looked at her terrified face, then back at the door. Something felt wrong, but I couldn't identify what. The parents sounded legitimate, but Rachel's fear seemed too genuine to be a delusion. "I'm calling the police," I said loud enough for everyone to hear. "They can sort this out." The father's voice came through the door, still calm. "Of course, we understand. We just want our daughter home safely. We've been so worried." Rachel started crying. "No, no, no. They'll take me back and I'll disappear. They'll say I had an accident or ran away. You'll read about it in the paper. Please, you can't let them take me." I dialed 911 and explained the situation. The dispatcher said officers would arrive in 10 minutes. I told the parents through the door that police were coming and they could wait in the hallway. They agreed without argument, which made them seem more credible. If they were really planning to hurt their daughter, wouldn't they try to force their way in? Rachel sat on my couch, rocking back and forth, the blanket pulled tight around her shoulders. "You don't understand what they're capable of. My dad is Vincent Thorne. He runs Thorne Development Corporation. They build commercial properties all over the state. 3 years ago, there was a family living in a house on land my dad wanted for a shopping center. They refused to sell. A week later, their house caught fire. All 4 of them died. The investigation ruled it accidental, but I saw the insurance documents in my dad's office. He'd taken out a policy on that property days before the fire. He collected millions." Her voice was rising, becoming more frantic. "That's just one case. There are others. A business partner who threatened to expose my dad's illegal accounting practices. He disappeared. They found his body in the river months later. Ruled a suicide, but he had no reason to kill himself. And a journalist who was investigating my dad's company. Car accident on a clear day, vehicle malfunction. My dad celebrated that night. I heard him tell my mom that the problem was solved. She looked at me with desperate intensity. "I have proof. I took photos of documents with my phone. Bank records, emails, insurance policies. It's all there. But if they get me back, they'll destroy the evidence and me. I wanted to believe her, but it sounded fantastical. Rich parents who were secretly murderers, staging accidents to get what they wanted, keeping their daughter drugged and discredited so she couldn't expose them. It was the plot of a thriller movie, not something that happened in real suburban neighborhoods. But her fear was real. Whether the threat was real or imagined, Rachel genuinely believed her parents were dangerous. The police arrived 12 minutes later. 2 officers, one older with gray at his temples, one younger with sharp eyes. The parents immediately approached them in the hallway, showing identification, speaking in low, concerned voices. I couldn't hear what they were saying, but I saw the officers nodding, their body language shifting to sympathetic. After a few minutes, the older officer knocked on my door. "Sir, I'm Officer Brennan. This is Officer Desai. May we come in and speak with the young lady?" I let them in. Rachel stood up when she saw them backing against the wall. "They're lying to you. Whatever they told you is a lie. My name is Rachel Thorne. I'm 16 years old. My parents are trying to kill me because I discovered they murdered people for money. I have proof on my phone." Officer Brennan's expression was kind, but I could see the skepticism. "Rachel, your parents are very worried about you. They say you have a medical condition that makes you believe things that aren't real. They have documentation from your psychiatrist, Dr. Lawrence Keating. He's confirmed you have a diagnosis of paranoid schizophrenia with psychotic features." Rachel shook her head violently. "Dr. Keating is my dad's friend from college. They play golf together. He wrote fake reports because my dad paid him. I'm not sick. I saw real documents. I can prove everything." Officer Desai spoke gently. "Where are these documents now? Can you show us?" Rachel pulled out her phone with trembling hands. "They're right here. Photos of bank transfers, emails discussing the fire that killed the Morrison family, insurance policies my dad took out on their property." She unlocked her phone and started scrolling. Her face went from determined to confused to horrified. "They're gone. All the photos are gone. But I took them. I swear I took them. There were dozens of pictures." She kept scrolling frantically. "Someone deleted them. They must have remote access to my phone. They deleted the evidence." Officer Brennan exchanged a look with Officer Desai. I could see what they were thinking. Paranoid delusions about deleted evidence, accusations against respected parents, fear that everyone was part of a conspiracy. It fit the profile of mental illness perfectly, but something nagged at me. Why would parents arrive so quickly? How did they know exactly which apartment Rachel had gone to? There were 8 units in this building. "How did you find her so fast?" I asked. The father, Vincent Thorne, stood in the hallway with his wife. He was tall, well-built, with the confident bearing of someone used to being in charge. "We have a tracking app on Rachel's phone for situations exactly like this. When she's having an episode, she doesn't think clearly. She could wander into traffic or hurt herself. The app shows her location so we can find her and get her the help she needs." It sounded reasonable. Parents tracking their mentally ill teenager to keep her safe. But Rachel had claimed they had remote access to her phone. Access that would let them delete photos. Could they also use that access for tracking? "What's the name of the app?" I asked. Vincent Thorne's expression flickered, just for a second, something cold passing behind his eyes before the concerned father mask returned. "It's called SafeTrack, very popular with parents of troubled teens." Officer Brennan turned to Rachel. "Your parents are willing to take you home and make sure you take your medication. Or if you prefer, we can take you to the hospital for evaluation. Either way, you can't stay here. This gentleman was kind enough to help, but you need proper care." Rachel looked at me with betrayal and terror. "If I go with them, I'll die. If I go to the hospital, they'll have their psychiatrist friend commit me. I'll be drugged and locked away where no one can hear me. Please, there has to be another option." I found myself saying something I didn't plan. "What if she stays here tonight, just until morning? Then you can sort out the medical situation when everyone's had rest and can think clearly." Vincent Thorne's mask slipped further. "I don't think that's appropriate. Rachel needs her medication and her own bed. We appreciate your concern, but this is a family matter." His voice had an edge now, authority and expectation of obedience. Officer Brennan agreed. "Mr. Thorne is right. Rachel is a minor. She needs to be with her parents or in professional care." Rachel started crying again, that desperate, broken sound that made my chest hurt. "Please don't make me go with them. I'm begging you. Just let me stay until morning. What difference does a few hours make?" I looked at the officers, at the parents, at Rachel. Something was wrong. I couldn't identify what, but my instincts were screaming. "I'm uncomfortable sending her back tonight, given her level of distress. What if she hurts herself? What if something happens? I'll take responsibility. She can stay here, I'll stay awake, and in the morning we can call social services to do a proper evaluation." Vincent Thorne's pleasant facade cracked entirely. "This is ridiculous. Officer, I'm asking you to return my daughter to my custody immediately. We have legal rights as her parents. This man is interfering with a family medical emergency." Officer Brennan looked uncomfortable but nodded. "He's right. Rachel, you need to go with your parents or to the hospital. Those are your options." Rachel bolted. She ran past the officers toward my bedroom. I heard the door slam and lock. Vincent Thorne moved to follow, but I stepped in his way. "Let's just calm down. Everyone's tired. Rachel is terrified. Forcing her right now isn't going to help anyone. Vincent Thorne looked at me with open hostility now. Get out of my way or I'll have you arrested for kidnapping. Officer Desai put a hand on Thorne's shoulder. Sir, let's not escalate. Rachel is clearly in distress. Maybe we should call for a mental health professional to make an assessment. Vincent's wife, who'd been quiet until now, spoke up. Her name was Diane, and her voice had a brittle quality. My daughter needs her medication. She gets violent when she's off it. She's hurt herself before. We're trying to prevent that. That was new information. Rachel had shown no signs of violence, only fear. Has she hurt anyone else? I asked. Or just herself? Diane hesitated. Just herself. Cutting mostly. But she's attempted suicide twice. That's why we're so worried. When she's in this state, she's a danger to herself. I spoke to the bedroom door. Rachel, are you okay in there? Her voice came back muffled. I'm fine. I just need time to think. Please don't let them take me. Officer Brennan made a decision. I'm calling for a mental health crisis counselor. They can do an assessment and determine the best course of action. Everyone stays calm until they arrive. Vincent Thorne looked like he wanted to argue but controlled himself. Fine, but I'm not leaving without my daughter. We all waited in tense silence. The Thornes stood in the hallway, occasionally speaking in low voices to each other. The officers stayed in my living room. I sat on the couch wondering what I'd gotten myself into and whether I was helping a mentally ill teenager or harboring someone fleeing legitimate danger. After 40 minutes, a woman arrived. She introduced herself as Dr. Yolanda Reeves, crisis counselor with the county mental health department. She was in her 50s, with warm eyes and a no-nonsense manner. Officer Brennan explained the situation. Dr. Reeves listened carefully, then asked to speak with Rachel alone. Can she come out of the bedroom, or should I go in? Rachel unlocked the door but stayed inside. You can come in. Just you. No one else. Dr. Reeves entered the bedroom and closed the door. We waited another 30 minutes. I could hear their voices, sometimes Rachel crying, sometimes Dr. Reeves speaking in soothing tones. Finally, the door opened. Dr. Reeves came out with Rachel beside her. Rachel's face was blotchy from crying, but she looked calmer. Dr. Reeves addressed everyone. I've completed my assessment. Rachel is experiencing severe anxiety and paranoid ideation. However, she's not an immediate danger to herself or others. My recommendation is that she spend the night here, as she's requested, and in the morning we arrange a more thorough psychiatric evaluation at the hospital. Taking her by force right now will only increase her trauma and could trigger a genuine crisis. Vincent Thorne's face reddened. This is unacceptable. You're enabling her delusions. She needs to come home where we can care for her properly. Dr. Reeves met his anger with professional calm. Mr. Thorne, I understand your concern, but removing her against her will in this state could result in self-harm. She's expressed suicidal thoughts. The safest option is to let her stay in a place where she feels secure for the next few hours. Diane Thorne looked at her husband. Maybe we should listen to the doctor, just for tonight. We can come back in the morning with Dr. Keating. Vincent looked like he wanted to explode, but controlled himself. Fine, but we're holding you responsible if anything happens to her. He pointed at me. If she hurts herself, that's on you. Officer Brennan nodded. We'll file a report documenting everyone's statements. Ma'am, are you comfortable staying until morning? He looked at Dr. Reeves. Dr. Reeves shook her head. I can't stay. I have other calls, but I'll arrange for a follow-up evaluation at 9 a.m. Rachel, you'll need to come to the hospital then for a full assessment. Can you agree to that? Rachel nodded, though she looked uncertain. Okay, I'll go, but only if he comes with me. She pointed at me. I started to object, but Dr. Reeves cut me off. That's reasonable. Having a supportive person present can help. Sir, would you be willing to accompany Rachel to the evaluation? I looked at this girl I'd just met, who'd brought chaos into my quiet life at 3 a.m., who was either fleeing genuine danger or deep in the grip of mental illness. Yes, I'll go with her. The Thornes left with the officers, but Vincent's parting look promised consequences. Dr. Reeves gave me her card and left. Suddenly, my apartment was quiet again except for Rachel's ragged breathing. She collapsed onto my couch. Thank you. You saved my life tonight. Even if you don't believe me, you saved my life. I sat in the chair across from her. Tell me the truth. Are you really sick? Is any of what you said real? Rachel looked at me with exhausted honesty. I don't know anymore. They've convinced everyone I'm crazy. Sometimes even I start to believe it. But I know what I saw. I know what I heard. My parents are dangerous people who've hurt others to get what they want. And now I'm their biggest problem. I let her sleep on the couch while I sat up, mind racing. I pulled out my laptop and started researching Vincent Thorne. Found his company website, professional photos, news articles about successful developments. Then I dug deeper. Found a 3-year-old article about the Morrison family fire. 4 dead, house destroyed, cause ruled accidental. The property had been sold 6 months later to Thorne Development Corporation. Coincidence? Maybe. I searched for the business partner Rachel mentioned. Found an obituary from 5 years ago. Maxwell Burton, age 42, drowned. Body found in Clearwater River. Police ruled it suicide. Burton had been CFO of Thorne Development before his death. I found the journalist. Nadia Okonjo, age 38, died in single-car accident 4 years ago. She'd been investigating corporate fraud in the development industry. Her last article before her death was about questionable land acquisitions. None of it proved anything. Accidents happened, people died, but the pattern was there if you looked for it. I needed more information. I noticed Rachel's phone on the coffee table, where she'd left it. Carefully, I picked it up. Still unlocked from when she'd been trying to show the officers her photos. I opened her photo gallery. Empty, except for a few recent selfies. But I checked the deleted photos folder. There they were. Dozens of images uploaded to the cloud backup, but marked as deleted from the device. Someone had remotely deleted them from her phone, but hadn't thought to check the backup. I started looking through them. Bank transfer records showing large payments from offshore accounts to domestic ones under Vincent Thorne's name. Emails discussing the Morrison property with phrases that made my blood run cold. Problem tenants need to be dealt with permanently. Another email responding, fire is cleaner than alternatives. Make sure it looks accidental. Insurance documents showing Vincent had purchased a policy on the Morrison property 3 days before the fire, claiming he'd had a purchase agreement that gave him insurable interest. More emails about Maxwell Burton. He knows too much, can't be trusted to stay quiet. Response. Clearwater River runs deep this time of year. Tragic accident. My hands were shaking. Rachel had been telling the truth. Her parents were murderers, multiple times over, and they'd been systematically gaslighting her, using a fraudulent mental illness diagnosis to discredit her. I took screenshots of everything and emailed them to myself. Then I forwarded the originals to a new email address I created, just in case. I was putting Rachel's phone back when she woke up. What are you doing? Her voice was sharp with fear. I found them. The photos you took. They're in your cloud backup. I've seen the evidence, Rachel. You were telling the truth. She sat up quickly. You believe me? You actually believe me? Tears started flowing again, but different this time. No one has believed me in 3 years. Not since I first tried to tell someone and they had me committed. Everyone thinks I'm crazy. I showed her the screenshots on my laptop. This is real. This is evidence of multiple crimes. We need to get this to the right people. Rachel shook her head. Who? My dad has connections everywhere. Local police know him. Judges, lawyers, politicians. He donates to all their campaigns. Everyone owes him favors. She was right. Going to local authorities might just give Vincent time to cover his tracks, or worse. What about the FBI? Corporate fraud, possible insurance fraud, these cross-state lines? That's federal jurisdiction? Rachel looked hopeful for the first time. Do you think they'd listen? Actually investigate instead of just believing my parents? I pulled up the FBI website and found the contact information for their financial crimes division. We call them first thing in the morning. Give them everything. Let federal agents who don't owe your father any favors look at the evidence. We spent the next few hours going through every photo, every document, building a timeline of Vincent Thorne's crimes, the Morrison fire, Maxwell Burton's drowning, Nadia Okonjo's accident, 3 other suspicious deaths linked to property disputes or business conflicts, all within the past decade, all benefiting Vincent Thorne financially. Why did they keep all this documentation? I asked. Why not destroy it? Rachel had thought about this. My dad is paranoid about covering himself legally. He keeps records of everything in case he needs to prove something later. Also, I think he gets off on it. He likes having proof of what he's gotten away with. Makes him feel powerful. At 6 a.m., I called the FBI. Got transferred 3 times before reaching an agent who would listen. I explained the situation carefully. Teenager fleeing parents, claims they've committed multiple murders for financial gain, has photographic evidence. The agent was skeptical, but agreed to send someone to interview us. At 8 a.m., 2 FBI agents arrived. Agent Cartwright was a woman in her 40s, sharp-eyed and professional. Agent Zhang was younger, maybe 30, with an intensity that suggested he didn't miss details. I showed them the evidence. Watched their expressions shift from polite skepticism to focused attention to barely concealed anger. This is substantial, Agent Cartwright said. If these documents are authentic, and they appear to be, you've given us evidence of fraud, conspiracy, and quite possibly multiple homicides. Rachel leaned forward. My parents are going to come back at 9 a.m., expecting to take me to a psychiatric evaluation. They'll try to have me committed so I can't talk to anyone. Agent Zhang nodded. We need to take you into protective custody. You're a material witness now, and potentially in danger. There was a knock at my door. I checked my watch. 8:47 a.m. Too early. I looked through the peephole. Vincent and Diane Thorne stood in the hallway with Dr. Keating, the psychiatrist. They'd arrived early, probably hoping to catch us off guard. It's them, I said quietly. The agents moved quickly. Agent Cartwright pulled out her badge. Let them in. We'll handle this. I opened the door. Vincent started to speak but stopped when he saw the 2 federal agents. Mr. and Mrs. Thorne, I'm Special Agent Cartwright with the FBI. We need to speak with you about your business dealings and specifically about several suspicious deaths connected to your company. Vincent's face went through several expressions in quick succession. Shock, anger, calculation, then forced confusion. I don't understand. What is this about? We're here to pick up our daughter for her psychiatric evaluation. Agent Zhang stepped forward. Your daughter has provided evidence suggesting you've been involved in insurance fraud, conspiracy, and possibly multiple homicides. We're going to need you to come with us for questioning. Diane Thorne's calm facade cracked. This is because of her. She's mentally ill. She makes up stories. Dr. Keating can explain. Dr. Keating, who'd been standing quietly, spoke up. Rachel has a documented history of paranoid delusions. She's been in treatment for 3 years. Nothing she says can be considered reliable. Agent Cartwright smiled coldly. We're aware of the diagnosis. We're also aware that you and Mr. Thorne have been friends since college, and that you play golf together every Wednesday. We'll be investigating whether that diagnosis was legitimate or fabricated to discredit a witness. Vincent Thorne's mask finally fell away completely. You have no idea what you're doing. I have lawyers who will bury you. I know people who will make your careers very difficult. Agent Zhang pulled out handcuffs. Vincent Thorne, you're under arrest for conspiracy to commit insurance fraud. You have the right to remain silent. As they read him his rights and cuffed him, Diane started screaming. You're destroying our family. Rachel is sick. She needs help. You're letting a delusional girl ruin everything. They cuffed her too, still screaming about how unfair it all was, how Rachel had always been troubled, how they'd tried so hard to help her. Dr. Keating tried to leave, but Agent Zhang stopped him. You're coming too, Doctor. We have questions about your diagnostic practices and whether you knowingly filed false medical reports. I watched them being led away. Rachel stood beside me, crying, but this time with relief. Is it over? Are they really going to investigate? Agent Cartwright stayed behind. It's just beginning. We'll need your testimony, all your evidence, and your cooperation as we build a case. This could take months or years. Your parents will have expensive lawyers. It won't be easy. Rachel wiped her tears. I don't care, as long as the truth comes out, as long as people know what they did. The investigation took 14 months. FBI agents tore apart Thorne Development Corporation's records, found evidence of fraud, bribery, conspiracy, and 3 counts of murder for hire. Vincent had contracted killers to stage the Morrison fire, Maxwell Burton's drowning, and Nadia Okonjo's accident. Diane had been complicit, helping to cover up the crimes and participating in the decision-making. Dr. Keating had indeed falsified Rachel's psychiatric records, creating a diagnosis of paranoid schizophrenia to discredit her if she ever spoke out. He'd done it for money and the promise of future business connections. The trial was a media sensation. Rich developers staging murders for profit. Teenage daughter who'd been gaslit and institutionalized for trying to expose the truth. I testified about that night, about Rachel's terror, about the evidence I'd found. Rachel testified with remarkable composure, describing years of knowing her parents were killers, being told she was crazy, being medicated and committed to keep her quiet. The jury deliberated for 2 days, guilty on all counts. Vincent got life without parole. Diane got 30 years. Dr. Keating got 15 years and lost his medical license permanently. Rachel was placed with a foster family while the investigation was ongoing. Good people who believed her and supported her. She started real therapy to deal with the trauma, not the fake therapy designed to drug her into compliance. 3 years after that night, Rachel graduated high school with honors. She'd been accepted to a university studying criminal justice. I want to help people who aren't believed, she told me when we met for coffee to celebrate. People who tell the truth and get called crazy. People the system fails. I was proud of her. This girl who'd knocked on my door terrified and desperate had survived hell and come out stronger. She'd fought for the truth even when everyone told her she was delusional. She'd refused to give up even when the world insisted she was wrong. You saved my life that night, she said. You're the first person who listened instead of dismissing me. I shook my head. You saved yourself. You gathered the evidence. You had the courage to run. You fought for the truth. I just answered the door. She smiled. Sometimes that's enough. Sometimes one person listening, one person believing, one person refusing to look away. That's what makes the difference between truth and silence. And she was right. Because if I'd turned her away that night, if I'd believed the calm explanations of worried parents over the desperate plea of a terrified girl, Rachel would be dead or institutionalized, and Vincent and Diane Thorne would still be killing anyone who stood in their way. Sometimes the most important thing you can do is listen when someone asks for help, especially when everyone else insists they're wrong. Thanks for watching till the end. Make sure to subscribe and like to not miss the next story.